Good evening, students. Let me introduce myself. I am Sumant, working as a lecturer in the Department of Mathematics. Today, I have taken the chapter Trigonometric Functions. You have already studied a bit of trigonometry in your high school classes. Now here in PUC, we'll study trigonometry in a more detailed way. First of all, the applications of trigonometry. Trigonometry has a lot of applications in the science field, in the engineering field. You will see we'll use trigonometry to measure the height of a tower and to measure the depth of the sea. It has a lots and lots of applications. Okay, without going much details about its applications, let us first concentrate on some basics of trigonometry which you have already discussed, which you have already studied in your high school classes. Let us recall them and then we will go to the actual chapter. Trigonometry from exams point of view, it's a very important chapter. Not just from exams point of view, from the theory, from the subject's point of view also, it is very important. You will need this chapter, you will need these concepts in many other topics in mathematics, in first year as well as in second year. Not only in mathematics, you need a lot of this in physics also, which you have observed already in some of the problems in physics you are using trigonometry. Some of the derivations also you are using trigonometry. Okay. Now from first year's examinations point of view, here from this chapter, you will get one 1-mark question, one 2-mark question, one 3-mark question, one 5-mark question and one 6-mark questions. So altogether 17 marks, 11, 14, 16, 17 marks questions will appear from this chapter for your first year annual examination. Okay. Now you may think, sir, only 17 out of 100. Okay. Still there are so many chapters, so 17 is a big number. It is it has a good weightage. Then not only from the exams point of view, from subjects point of view, I said trigonometry is very important. You need to understand all the basics, you need to remember all these formulae throughout these 2 years. Okay. Now trigonometry, as the word, that word trigonometry is derived from the Greek words trigon and metron. It is derived from these words trigon and metron, which means the meaning of these 2 words is the measurement of angles, measurement of 3 angles. That tri indicates 3. Measurement of 3 angles, which is nothing but the measurement of a triangle. You may either call it as the measurement of 3 sides or the measurement of 3 angles. In other words, it is the study of measurement of a triangle. Okay. So all those trigonometric functions, they are derived, they are defined on a triangle, in particular right angle triangle only. Okay. So now before I define what are the trigonometric ratios, let us first start with what is an angle. Okay. Angle. I'll consider one point, say a fixed point, let me call it as O. I'll take one line here, line, or you can also call it as a ray, OA. This O is the initial point, okay, and this OA is the initial line. Now I will rotate this OA, this line OA, in the anti-clockwise direction. In the anti-clockwise direction. That means I am rotating this line in this way. Let us say it comes to this position. Let me call this point as B. Okay. The line OA is rotated in the anti-clockwise direction so as to reach the line OB. Then this is called angle. Okay. How much it is rotated, that is called an angle, which is denoted by this OAB. It is the path traced by that line OB. Okay. So OA, this is the initial line OA, and this is the terminal line. We have stopped this line here after rotating through this, and this path is called the angle. Usually we denote an angle by theta, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, etc. These are some notations with which we denote an angle. Okay. So I will denote this as theta. So angle, sorry, it's not OAB, it is AOB. Angle AOB is equal to theta. Okay. OA is the initial line. We are rotating this line through an angle theta to reach the position OB. Then angle AOB is denoted by theta. When you are measuring the angle in the anti-clockwise direction, then the angle is treated as positive. Suppose if we are measuring the angle in the clockwise direction, you know the meaning of anti-clockwise and clockwise direction. If you consider the hands of a clock, the minute hand and the hour hand, so the clock will, in the hands will move in this direction, right? Suppose this is a, let me consider this, imagine this as a clock. So here are the minute hand and the, say, okay, so let me say, okay, this is the hour hand and this is the minute hand. They move in this direction, right? So that is called clockwise direction. And if we consider a movement in this way, that is called anti-clockwise direction. That anti-clockwise means opposite to clockwise direction. Okay. So this here we are measuring, we are going in the anti-clockwise direction. When we measure an angle in the anti-clockwise direction, that is treated as positive. If we are measuring, let us say, this is the line OA. This OA is rotated through an angle theta to reach the position B. Then this angle AOB is considered as theta, that is positive. However, if this is our initial line OA and we are rotating this OA in the anti-clockwise direction, let us say this angle is alpha, then though that the magnitude is alpha, we denote it as minus alpha, because this is measured in the clockwise direction. Whenever an angle is measured in the anti-clockwise direction, that angle is to be considered as positive, and when we measure an angle in the clockwise direction, it should be treated as negative. Okay. Now in our syllabus there are two measurement systems with which we measure an angle. One is the degree measure and the other one is the radian measure. First let us have a look at the degree measure. Degree measure. Okay. Degree measure. Let me consider one right angle. Well, let me consider one circle here. In this, so I will call this as O, this point as O, this as A and this as B. Here is one right angle. Angle AOB is right angle. One right angle is divided into 90 equal parts. One right angle is divided into 90 equal parts. Okay. So let us say in this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in this way, one right angle is divided, this angle AOB is divided into 90 equal parts. Okay. Therefore, there each part, 90 equal parts I said, each part is called a degree. One right angle is divided into 90 equal parts and each part is called a degree. Therefore, angle in a right angle, so in this case angle AOB, that is equal to 90 degree. One right angle is divided into 90 equal parts, each part is called a degree. So angle AOB is equal to 90 degree here. If I take this as C, then angle AOC will be equal to 180 degree. Okay. Then if I take this point as D, then this angle angle AOD, that will be equal to, there are three right angles, 90 plus 90 degree plus 90 degree, that will give you 270 degree. And if you cover one full circle, so let us say angle AOA, that means you are covering this total circle, then that is equal to 360 degree. You are already aware of all these things. As you know, the total angle in a circle is 360 degree. Here for 360 degree, initial line is OA and the terminal line or the terminal side is also OA. So it covers one full circle. When it covers one full circle, it means the total angle is 360 degree. Okay. This is how a degree is defined. You can define a degree in another way also. That is, a degree is defined as the length of the arc. It is the length of the arc subtended by whose length is equal to 1 by 360th of the circumference of the circle. What does it mean? Let me explain. See, let us say this is 1 degree. 1 degree is also defined as the angle subtended at the center of a circle by an arc of a circle. This is the arc, by an arc of a circle whose length is equal to 1 by 360th of the circumference of the circle. 1 by 360th of the circumference of the circle. This arc length, this, see, you consider this is a arc. Okay, I am considering a portion of the circle, let R be the radius, this is the center. Okay, so the same thing here I have enlarged here. Okay, I am calling this as R. This is OA and this position, let me call it as A dash. A dash. This angle is such that this is 1 by 360th of the circumference of the circle. In other words, you divide this circle into 360 equal parts. Into 360 equal parts, because you know total angle is 360 degree. So you divide it into 360 equal parts, then each part is called a degree. A degree means 1 degree. Okay. So a degree can also be defined as the angle subtended at the center of a circle by an arc of a circle whose length is 1 by 360th of the circumference of a circle. This is degree measure. We are already very familiar with this. After this, I will go to radian measure. Let us see what is a radian measure. Radian measure. A radian is defined as the angle subtended at the center of a circle by an arc of a circle whose length is equal to radius of that circle. Let me consider a circle with center at origin and radius r. Okay, I will call this point as A. Let OA be the radius of that circle. I am considering a circle with center at O and radius r. Now, this point is B. This is the angle AOB. Okay. Now, that angle AOB, we say that it is equal to 1 radian. This unit indicates radian. You have to read this as 1 radian. If this length AB, arc length AB, okay, this arc, it has a length equal to the radius of the circle. Okay. A radian, 1 radian is defined as the angle subtended at the center of a circle by an arc of a circle whose length is equal to radius of the circle. This is an important definition, could be asked for 1 mark in the exam. So let me define what is a radian. Radian, it is the angle subtended at the center of a circle angle subtended at the center of a circle by an arc of a circle, center of a circle by an arc of a circle, arc of a circle whose length is equal to radius of the circle, whose length is equal to radius of the circle. This definition you should remember. Okay, I repeat again, it is 1 radian is defined as the angle subtended at the center of a circle by an arc of a circle whose length is equal to the radius of the circle. See, there is a difference between the length AB and the arc length AB. Length AB means if I draw one line here joining these 2 points, that is the length AB. Length AB, it is the length AB, whereas now I am talking about the arc AB. So if I am going in this way through this line, straight line, that is the length AB, and if I am going along the circumference of that circle, that is the arc length AB, length of the arc AB. So that length of the arc AB, obviously it is greater than the length AB, length of the line segment AB. See here, if I write like this, it indicates the length of the arc AB. If I write only AB, that indicates the shortest distance between AB, that is through a straight line. Okay, so is it clear now? What is a radian? A radian is the angle subtended at the center of a circle by an arc of a circle whose length is equal to the radius of the circle. Okay, now let us discuss one theorem, that is a radian is a constant angle. Let us discuss one theorem. Theorem. Radian is a constant angle. Radian is a constant angle. Let me prove this. Okay, I'll consider a circle. I'll consider the same diagram now. I'll consider a circle with the center at origin and radius r. Okay, now let B be a point on the on that circle such that angle AOB is equal to 1 radian. Okay, I have chosen one point on the circle, that point is B, such that I have chosen that point in such a way that angle AOB is equal to 1 radian. Okay, so once I say angle AOB is equal to 1 radian, then already we know by definition we can clearly say that length of the arc AB is equal to R. Length of the arc AB is equal to R, because through the definition of radian, since if this is 1 radian, this length, arc length AB must be equal to R. Now I will choose another point C, another point C here. Okay, you don't read this as 1 power C, it is 1 radian. Okay, now C, such that this angle is 90 degree, it's right angle. Angle AOC is equal to 90 degree. Angle AOC is equal to 90 degree. Angle AOB you know already, which is equal to 1 radian. Angle AOC is equal to 90 degree. Now you just observe, as I increase the angle, the length of the arc also increases. See, consider a circle here. This is our initial line. Suppose if I consider here, this angle is small, this length is also small. If I take the point here, then this angle increases. Then as the angle increases, the length of the arc also increases proportionally. And if I take here, this will be the angle and this will be the arc length, right? So as we increase the angle, the length of the arc length also increases proportionally, and vice versa. That is, if I increase the arc length, then angle increases, and as I increase the angle, the arc length also increases. They increase proportionally. Okay, so therefore I can say that angle AOB divided by angle AOC, that is equal to length of the arc AB divided by length of the arc AC. If I write like this, it indicates that the arc length AB, this indicates that the arc length AC. Since we know when we increase the angle, the length of the arc also increases proportionally. So their ratios will be equal. The angle AOB by angles AOC is equal to angle arc length AB divided by arc length AC. Okay. What is angle AOB? Angle AOB is nothing but 1 radian divided by angle AOC. What is angle AOC? Angle AOC is equal to 90 degree. That is equal to arc length AB. Arc length AB is equal to R. Arc length AB is R, we know. Divided by, now I want arc length AC. What is AC? AC, this length. Now this is right angle. In a circle, how many right angles can we have? We can have 4 right angles. Look at this. This arc length AC is 1/4 of the circumference of the circle. If I cover full circle from A to A, that is the total circle. That is the circumference of the circle. Whereas now I am talking about only AC. That AC is 1/4 of the circumference of the circle. ಅಂದರೆ circumference ಅಂದರೆ ಪರಿಧಿ. ಪರಿಧಿಯ 4ನೇ ಒಂದು ಭಾಗ. AC, this arc length AC is 1/4 of the circumference of the circle. 1/4 of the circumference of the circle. What is the formula for circumference of the circle? 2 pi r. Okay. So from this I can write 1 radian by 90 degree is equal to, here r gets cancelled, 1 by pi by 2. 2 gets cancelled, pi by 2, this 2 will come up. 1 radian by 90 degree is equal to 2 by pi. This implies that 1 radian is equal to 90 degree into 2. Directly I will write 90 degree into 2, which is equal to 180 degree by pi. This is a constant. As you know, 180 is a constant. Pi is also a constant, 22 by 7 approximately. So 1 radian is equal to 180 by pi, which is a constant. So what it tells us, what is the meaning of this is that 1 radian, whether you consider a smaller circle or a bigger circle, a radian is always a constant angle. It does not depend on the radius of that circle. Observe, 1 radian is equal to 180 degree by pi. This is a constant. Okay. Now from that equation, 1 radian is equal to 180 degree by pi. If I cross multiply it, I can write pi radian is equal to 180 degree. Pi radian equal to 180 degree. Okay. Pi radian equal to 180 degree. So 1 radian is equal to 180 by pi. So from this we shall look at some conversion. How to convert degrees into, by using this formula we can convert degrees into degree measure, degree to radian, radian to degrees. So pi radian equal to 180 degree. Therefore I can write pi by 2 radian is equal to 90 degree. Pi by 4 radian is equal to 45 degree. You divide by 4. Then pi by 3 radian is equal to 60 degree. Pi by 6 radians is equal to 30 degree, and so on. Okay. We shall see such problems afterwards. Now what is 1 radian? 1 radian, 180 by pi, right? Pi I will write it as 22 by 7, which is equal to 120, 1260, 180 into 7 divided by 22. Okay, that's equal to 630 by 11. 630 by 11, this approximately comes out as 57 degree 16 minutes 22 seconds. 1 radian is equal to 57 degree 16 minutes 22 seconds approximately. Just a minute. I did not mention what is a minute and what is a second. I have told you 1 degree, right? So how did I define 1 degree? 1 degree is defined as the, see, one right angle is divided into 90 equal parts. Each part is called a degree. Further, there is a subdivision also. 1 degree is divided into 60 equal parts. 1 degree is divided into 60 equal parts. Each part is called a minute. Okay. So from there I can write 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. Then further, 1 minute is divided into 60 equal parts. 1 degree is divided into 60 equal parts. Each part is called a minute. And 1 minute is divided into 60 equal parts, and each part is called a second. So 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Okay, is it clear? One right angle is divided into 90 equal parts, so each part is called a degree. Therefore, 1 right angle is equal to 90 degree, which you know already. Then 1 degree is subdivided into 60 equal parts. Each part is called a minute. Further, 1 minute is divided into 60 equal parts, and each part is called a second. So from there we can say that 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes and 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. And this, when we simplify, 1 radian, which is 630 by 11 degrees, on simplification this will give you 57 degrees 16 minutes and 22 seconds approximately. Okay, next. Now let us discuss one more theorem. Theorem: if an arc of length L subtends an angle theta, at the center of a circle, of radius r, then L is equal to r theta. Okay, if an arc of a circle of length L subtends an angle theta at the center of a circle, then center of circle of radius r, then L is equal to, that arc length is equal to r into theta. Let me derive this formula. Consider a circle. Okay, so consider circle. I will choose let center be O. Given that r is the radius, let this point be A. OA is equal to r. Here is B. I will choose say angle AOB is equal to 1 radian. Okay, angle AOB is equal to 1 radian I will choose. Now I will choose another point here C, AC, such that this angle is theta radian. Let me write angle AOB is equal to 1 radian and angle AOC is equal to theta radian. Okay, arc length AB is equal to r. We know if that angle is 1 radian, then the length of that arc will be equal to radius of the circle. And arc length AC, I have considered, let it be equal to L. let L be the arc length. They have given if an arc of length L subtends an angle theta at the center of a circle. So this is the arc length AC. That arc AC is subtending an angle theta at the center of a circle. So I have taken that arc length as L and angle AOC as theta. Okay. As we have already seen in our previous proof that as the angle increases, the length of the arc also increases proportionally and vice versa. That is, as the length increases, the angle also increases proportionally. So from there we can say angle AOB divided by angle AOC is equal to, angle AOB is 1 radian, angle AOC is equal to theta radian. This will imply angle that increases proportionally. Angle AOB by angle AOC is equal to arc length AB divided by arc length AC. That will imply angle AOB is nothing but 1 radian. Angle AOC is theta radian. On RHS, arc length AB is equal to R divided by, this is R. Arc length AC, that is equal to L. So 1 radian by theta radian is equal to R by L, cross multiply. This will imply, see here 1 radian by theta radian, cross multiply, L is equal to R into theta. Now this will not have any unit here because both it is 1 radian divided by theta radian, so it will become 1 by theta, not that units gets cancelled. Okay, so L will be equal to R theta, cross multiply, L is equal to R theta. This is the formula. This formula you have to remember. Here L indicates the length of the arc, R is the radius of the circle, and theta is the angle subtended at the center of the circle by that arc. Okay. Now here this formula can be used only if theta is in radians. While using this formula in any problems, if the angle is in terms of degrees, then first you have to convert that degrees into radians and then use this formula. L is equal to R theta. Okay. Students, with this I will stop today's class. We will continue tomorrow. Thank you.